This is the garland that's defective. There's two colours aren't showing. One is red and the other I think is orange. So what I've done is I've just cut the wires and bared them, and similarly connected wire crocodile clips to the original control box for this light. So if I turn it on now, well, I can see which ones aren't working. And what I'll do is it's every alternate one, so this is either going to be an orange or a red, and what I'll need to do is just mark those, cut them out, isolate them, and then just take the red ones that I want. So here's the first LED in the series that wasn't working. Now it's either going to be orange or red. I've already got the little power pack turned on, so oh, there we are, it's a red, so that's great. So I've got a red one already. Take that off and look for the next one in the series. Here I am again. I've reconnected the garland. I suspect this is a red one. Now with it still turned on, making sure these aren't touching, I'm just going to snip midway between the two wires. There we are. And there is our red. So that's another good red one. I've cut a very small piece of insulating tape, red. I'm just going to wrap it round the LED so I know that's a red one. Disconnect and look for my third and final one now. Logic says that it will be the fourth one along from there. So I'll just carry on doing that, and then I'll start putting them together. So this is effectively the circuit I'm going to have, which is all three LEDs wired to the battery in parallel. Now I've just got to make the loom up now so I can get these down the legs of the tripod, and these LEDs will be at the bottom of each leg of the tripod. I can now cut off these outgoing tails because they're not needed anymore. That will make it tidier, and I'll get my soldering iron and we'll solder up the connections. To supply the power down the legs of the tripod from the battery pack down to the LEDs, I'm going to use a piece of recuperated 2-core cable, which I think came off an old electric drill. Perfectly adequate. In fact, it's probably oversized, but it was nice and long, so I'll just put it in 2/3 and then I'll cut it to length, and that will be adequate to go down to each LED. So that's now in equal lengths. All I need to do is snip it. And these will run down the legs, each leg of the tripod. So I've bared these wires and twisted them together. So now what I'm going to do is connect them together via a connecting block, the other end of which will go into the power supply box. That's got it there, and just to keep them together, I'm just going to use a cable tie. So that's it, ready to go now, and to be connected to the power supply. Here are my 3 cables coming down from the connector block, to which I'm going to attach the LEDs. Now I'm going to obviously prepare these bared wires with some tinning for solder, but just before I do that I realise I've actually run out of this stuff, but it's very useful. It's heat shrink plastic insulation, which is great. You just slide it onto your connectors, do your soldering, and then you can just heat it and it will shrink around the connection and make a really good, secure and insulated connection, so it's isolated between the two. I'm just meanwhile going to use black insulating tape because, as I say, that's all I've got left of that, which is a shame. Right, so I'll just tin all these with my solder, and then I'll do the same with the tails on the LED. and then I can join them all together. Right, I haven't put the insulating tape on yet on these connections, but everything's soldered, and I'd like to just check everything's connected. So, putting the connection block, attaching the little power pack to the side of the connecting block. We should, yeah, there we are. So we've got little LEDs working now, perfectly okay. So I'll put the insulating tape on there, and then I can attach them to the tripod. On this tripod there's a very convenient hook being screwed in, and I have on the top of the box a little hanging loop. So all I'm going to do is just suspend it from there, and then put the 3 flexes going down to the LEDs into the hook as well, and that's it fixed. If you've got a conventional metal tripod, then there is normally at midway stage a level for the lenses, the eyepieces, and you could suspend it from that. Anyway, that's the way I've done it. Still in the workshop, and I've just attached the lights to the tripod. I'll close the door and we'll see. Oh yeah, I can see it already. There we are. No mistaking the feet of the tripod, which hopefully means that nobody mistakenly trips over it, hurts themselves, or misaligns the telescope, or knocks everything over. Rather pleasing that, and it cost me nothing.